Hi, my name is Robin Dawes. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in San Diego, California, where it's always sunny here, almost, even though we're calling this fall. And I was asked to do a presentation today to celebrate our Jewish holidays. Most of you will know that there are pretty much usually 0 to 1 Jewish stamp in the catalog, so that means we have to get creative. And so we are going to stamp today using the Apple Harvest stamp set and bundle if you happen to have gotten the dies while you could in the month of September. And we are going to learn a little bit about the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah as we stamp. So I'm going to put you down here and then we will get going. So, like I said, we are going to be using the Apple Harvest stamp set today, which is in our July through December mini catalog. And the reason that we are using that is for the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah. We eat apples and honey to celebrate a Jewish New Year. Rosh Hashanah in Hebrew means head of the year. It is our New Year. The Jewish calendar is running on a 28-day lunar calendar, and so the date of all of our holidays changes every single year. Anyway, so we're going to be using apples to signify the apples and honeys that we dip. There are other things that you could use. If you happen to have a stamp with a ram's horn on it, we blow that at this holiday. Because that's comes from the Torah portion that we're reading right now. We also, if you have anything that has honeybees on it or things like that, that would be another good thing. Or I've seen people use like the jar of flowers, that little jar, to signify a honey pot, color in yellow. So those are just some ideas of stamp sets that you can use, and I'll give you a few more ideas as we go on for sentiments. I got this Happy New Year out of our Kindest Gnomes stamp set, but look around at your stamp sets and see what else you have that could say Happy New Year. I suppose you could even use a Happy Holiday. And with any holiday, we're always wishing you joy and peace, so that would be good. I just basically went through every stamp set I had trying to find something that would be appropriate for the inside. This one came from the Perched in a Tree stamp set. Okay, so let's make this card, and I don't know if you notice that this is kind of, I think we call it a Z-fold card. You'll usually see it like that, but this one is opening and closing like that. So we're going to start with our apples here. And I'm going to put this off to the side. I'm using one of the Scallop Contours, the Scallop Contour die set to, I think this is the middle one. This is some soft suede. And what I decided I wanted to do, and this is the one with the 2 apples on it, is I wanted to make this kind of a light outline, and so I'm stamping it off so that it is more of kind of a lighter. See how much darker that is over there. Okay, and since we have this out, let's also go ahead and stamp everything else that we're going to be using. So this is our inside piece, and our stamp that says wishing you abundant joy and peace. If you know me at all, you know that getting things straight is not my forte, so I'll apologize ahead of time just in case. This little flower I'm going to stamp off also, and this is in that same stamp set. Move that over to the side. And then this is just a little scrap piece, and remember I told you I was using this Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year for the inside. Now there's two ways you can do this in terms of using that. Found it easiest to just stamp it and cut it off. Stamp the whole thing. The other thing you can do is you can take one of your Stampin' Write markers. I don't have a lot of these. I don't have them all. But you can just use that and just color in just the part. This may stamp with all of it because I didn't wash it off. Just color in the Happy New Year with your Stampin' Write marker and stamp that. And then you can just cut that out too. You see, you're getting a little bit of the other color in there. But I just wanted to show you a couple different ways that you can use that. So now we've got everything all stamped. Oh, one more thing to stamp. Forgot about that. I thought this looked a little plain. So what I did is there's this cool little kind of background stamp. And this is, the color I'm using is the In Color Parakeet Party. Like I said, this was soft suede for everything else. There's this cool little background stamp, and then I just stamped it off and used it kind of so it would show up kind of behind and not really take away from the sentiment, but just actually give just a little bit of background interest there. All right, so now I guess we can cut this out. So we've got our little sentiment, and all we really want is our little Happy New Year part. So I kind of just freehanded this. I suppose you could probably, you know, do it on your machine, but freehanding it seemed to work for me. I'm just going to cut a little off the bottom so it doesn't look so top heavy, because you got to cut off that part there. Whoop. Okay, so that's ready. And now just to go show you a little bit of the coloring, I'm probably not going to do it all. I used some dark crumb cake to color in the branches, maybe a little bit, and then a little bit of light crumb cake, got the little seeds in there. And then a little bit of light crumb cake on here too. And then just wanted to show you a couple little techniques that I like to use for coloring. So I personally like to follow what they have. You know, they're gonna give you some little hints. And you can go in with these little kind of hash mark kind of looking things. Don't go all the way to the edge because it does tend to bleed out a little bit, just so you're not going over. And using short little strokes. And then, let's not forget that little piece. You don't want to color too much at a time, because this is why we call them blends, is that you're wanting to be blending in the color. So this is this was the Sweet Sorbet, the light and the dark. So you see how I'm blending in that outside part so it doesn't look like a line. I like to use my brush tip for this. And then what I did is I came back with my color lifter. Everybody get a color lifter if you don't have blends. That's your first thing to do. Now, and that's just that little roundy part that catches the sun. And wait a little bit when you use your color lifter, because quite often it continues to get light even after you're done. And again, remember what I said about following the lines. Use those as your dark lines, and then come back with your lighter pen. I'm actually going to use the small side because this is a small edge here. and just use small circles and blend that out. So through the Miracle, oh, and then what I did for the little flowers is I just used this little light one on the little center pieces there. And then I did come back again with my color lifter and lighten it up even more. So it's almost like you can get, you know, multiple different colors from just those blends. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to show you that I love doing, and I'm sorry I don't remember which demonstrator I learned this from, is to take your light pool party and go all the way around with the bullet point what you just colored. And then what you want to do, so I would go all the way around everything. And then what you want to do is take that color lifter again, just the little bullet end, and kind of going from in to out, just try to blend that out a little. Just lighten it up, soften up the edges. And then I put a little bit of Wink of Stella on everything, or actually on the apple. So through the quickness of TV, hopefully you can see the Wink of Stella. You see where I got that little light part from my color lifter, and you can see that just faint shadow around there. And that works on everything. You know, people works really well for people. All right, so let's grab what we need to put this together. So I have a piece of the Parakeet Party. It is a regular 5 by 8.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4, and I've also scored it at 2 1/8. So first I'm just going to fold it in half. And then I'm going to fold that 2 1/8 one back on itself. Make a really good crease so it stays down. Then I have some of the 6-inch in color designer series paper, the 6x6 pack. I've got one piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. You guys are going to be able to have, you know, written instructions for all of this. And that's going on the inside. And then I have another piece, again, so this is a 1/4 inch margin all the way around. And then this piece is 5 1/4 by 1 7/8. That's going on the front. Centered. And then we're going to put that right on top of there. I'm going to put this on with dimensionals, but remember we only mean dimensionals on the top halves. So what I tend to do is kind of like block off and know that I don't want to go below that half mark line when I'm putting on my dimensionals. Or say when you're putting on, you know, glue for something similar to this, you would do that same kind of thing. All right, trying to center it on the whole thing. And now we've got our inside piece. Oh, I wanted to get a little bit of pink here too. Not pink, Sweet Sorbet. Let's use the right colors here. Again, lighten it up a little bit with my color lifter. All right, so this we're gonna glue completely down. But we want to make sure that it's hidden by this front flap. So what I did is I put these together like this. Make sure that it's hidden back there and then push it down. Okay. Don't move it then because it's perfectly placed like that. And we're going to take our little Happy New Year. And this time I have some baby dimensionals, the little minis. Love my mini dimensionals. Okay, you could also, you know, if you didn't want to put this pool party around here with a blend, you could do it with a brush. And then I decided, you know, every card needs a little bit of bling. So I took our, what are we calling these? 22, 24 in color matte decorative dots. And let's put a few ones around there. And as we all know, we want to use usually odd numbers here to do that. Love using my take a pick tool to pick up these little things. And then all we need is, as Sarah has attested, is we can't have naked envelopes. So I am going to take my little apple again. I just tend to use whatever is, you know, I used inside. This would take up a lot of room, so I probably won't stamp the whole thing. And again, I'll stamp it off so it's not quite as obvious here. And then we have a beautiful card and envelope here to send somebody for their Happy Rosh Hashanah, Happy New Year. We also say, if you want to say it in Hebrew, we say L'Shana Tova. And I just want to show you a little stepped up card that I made with that. So what I did to step it up is I stamped the this big stamp and embossed it in gold. And then I have a set of stamps that I found from a company that actually is going out of business right now, so called Casual Stampers, that I don't think you can even get anymore. But it does say L'Shana Tova. The other option is you just put that in your computer and print it out. And then on this piece right here, I ran it through with the Hive embossing folder and put a little wash of the pool party, put a little gold trim on the back and little gold dots instead. So that just kind of, you know, stepped it up a little bit. And then the only other thing I wanted to show you is this is what I've been doing lately. I started this a few months ago and I'm really enjoying it. It's one of those, I wish I'd done this sooner things. But when I make a card that's a fun fold card, now this is an easy fun fold. I think you could, you know, remember how to do this. But the more complicated ones, especially, I'm just taking some old cardstock and old DSP. This one happens to match. They usually don't. And I will do a little template and I'll write on the back how big my cardstock is, where I scored it. I'll write on the front so how big all the DSP pieces are. And then I have just a little plastic shoeboxy thing and I throw it in there. And then next time, first of all, that has stopped me from saying, oh, I can't send that out because I want to make that fancy fold again and I'll never remember how to do it. And so I'm sending out more of my cards, but also I don't have to sit and try to look it up again or figure out what's going on. So that's my tip of the day here. So hopefully you've enjoyed that, learned a little bit about Rosh Hashanah, our Jewish New Year. It's not too late if you have a Jewish friend to send them a card. Oh, shoot, I forgot while we were down to give you some other ideas. So the other idea, and I use this on a lot of my own Rosh Hashanah cards, is to take the biggest wish and use one of the happies from that, and then just get a Rosh Hashanah. Charming Sentiments has something that's really nice in wishing you everything wonderful. I'm backwards on this again. Oh well. And hopefully that gives you some ideas for Rosh Hashanah cards. And if you've got a Jewish friend, I think they'd be just really thrilled if you sent them a card right now. Bye.